to Unread Books. And today we have 3 books about a very uncomfortable yet very, very fascinating topic, and that is death. Death will come to all of us. Death is the great equalizer. He kills everybody. I mean, he takes all of us away, whether we are kings or beggars or whatever exists today, IT specialists and bank clerks and presidents and stuff like that. Yes, and are there books that are not about death? All books have something to do with death because they have a beginning and an ending, and when a good book is over, you have the feeling you die. But no, today the books I want to show you really have death and the representation of death as a topic. And the first one is connected to a name which is quite familiar to most of us, but not all of us knew, I suppose, that Andy Warhol had things to do with death besides dying. I mean, he died, so that's it. But no, next to all the soup cans and the Marilyn Monroe pictures and Billy Idol? No, Billy Idol was together with Marilyn Monroe, but that was in the video clip in one of his video clips. No, but Andy Warhol's factory created this, and you can see it on the cover already. Created these pictures that are like that look printed, and became synonymous with pop art, I would say. What can be more pop than death? Probably a lot of things, but death is a very popular topic, believe it or not. We have an introduction with a lot of writing, and we can already see some of the pictures like they were created in the paintings or the printings, right? That's what you would call them. And you can see they are all in a series. I think that was one of the concepts. People who know more about pop art and especially Warhol than I do could write in the comments maybe what the idea was behind that. I think it was something like the reproductive process, the endless reproductivity of art. Sorry. The endless reproductivity or reproductibility of art, and the little changes that result from copying and printing and so on. It's still fascinating today, I admit. And yes, but I think looking for different things to do with that concept led him to darker topics than soup cans and film stars and so on. These pictures I think are quite nice because there's pictures of death occurrences. By the way, should I put a trigger warning to this video, or are we all grown up enough to deal with people being killed on an electric chair and people being shot? I mean, I have books in my collection that I think I shouldn't show here. Maybe I will, but for the moment, let's leave it at that. What I wanted to say is to connect these pictures with little poems. That's a nice thing that you could find probably in little poetry books for gothics and emos. And he was fascinated by the press. I mean, having a press himself and printing stuff. The look, just when I said it, the look of headlines, the look of newspapers, I think fascinated him. Yeah, and so as we can see here, by the way, I wonder why this book is so grimy. It looks like somebody put it on the floor and rubbed it around. Or does this happen with books like these when they are very, very old and you have these nice printings on one side? I don't know. What I also don't know is if these paintings are very popular with Warhol aficionados. Oh, this is one of these controversial pictures, right? The picture of a suicide victim who crashed onto a car. And I think a journalist called this beautiful. And of course, people say you can't call a dead person beautiful, but of course it is. And yes, the point is, if you give artists something to talk about or deal with that is somehow deep and dark, like death or accidents, things like this will come out and will happen. I remember, I think Stockhausen was asked about 9/11, and he said something controversial as well, like about souls rising to heaven and so on. If you asked artists about stuff like this, or if you give them something to do about death, they will create art. Is it good to aestheticize death? I think it's okay. Yes, I don't know if it's good, especially. The question is, who do you want to reach with something like this? I mean, Warhol at the time he was making this, although this is 1963, that was not at the height of his success. He had followers, right? He had fans, and did they say, okay, we put that into our living room or our office? Or did they say, that's a bit dark, let's take the soup cans instead? Difficult to say. Does it say something about the political background? Does it say more than, okay, this can be beautiful too? I'm not sure. Today, I must say, I'm not sure what art is for. You know, what the reason for art is anymore. Because it seems to be like a tool for many people. If you do the wrong kind of art, you're immediately out of the Overton window. And if you do the right kind of art, then you're a great artist, brave enough to touch the most controversial topics and whatever. In the past, that was important. In the present, it should be important, but I have the feeling that it's not balanced anymore. And don't let me talk about money in the art industry. You know, that's something that I really don't like to talk about. Make money as far as you want, but if you are Yves Klein and you put up a blue picture, then make millions of it. If you do the same thing today, I refuse to accept that you deserve the same money that Yves Klein got. And the same goes for Andy Warhol. So I hope on DeviantArt and somewhere on the internet, people do the same things, have been doing the same things, and will go on doing the same things here, but won't expect to be called like artists or whatever. Maybe it's better not to be called an artist anymore. Maybe it's better to be called a graphic designer or just somebody with ideas or whatever. Okay, we'll stay with a point of art, and the book here looks a bit strange to English eyes, yeah? Because you have no idea what that means. It's a publication from the old country where I come from, and but it's by Joel Sternfeld, who's a very famous and successful photographer whom I like very much. And the title Tatorte, what could be translated as crime scenes. Actually, I don't know if the book exists in this form in English, and it already breaks apart. No, it doesn't. Yes, I could look that up, but what do we have here? We have pictures, photos in this case, of things and of places. You know, this is Mount Rushmore, obviously. This is like a church somewhere. This is Central Park. So what are these pictures for, and what do they have to do with death? The point is, of course, if you see the name Emmett Till here, I mean, this is not English, but let me assure you that these texts explain what these pictures show. But of course, I think the idea of this book would be to look at the pictures and let them sink in. You know, what is this? Do you have any idea what this is? This is the seat in the cinema where Lee Harvey Oswald sat when he was arrested. So is this a crime scene? If it is the arrest of Lee Harvey? No, let's not get into this. I know Sternfeld is probably quite liberal, and putting Mount Rushmore in the beginning shows that he considers this to be a crime scene, and maybe he's right, maybe not. But this, by the way, is a great way, in contrast to the Andy Warhol book, to show what art can do. To put up a photo of this and not explaining what it is, and then getting some background, is a great thing. I realized what this is immediately. You too? Okay. I'll hold that off. I mean, this is great. Yeah, this is what art can and should do. Any place that we see in the world out there could be a crime scene, and maybe there horrible things have happened wherever, whatever you see outside. You know, it just needs some imagination and so on. And of course, if you know that something bad has happened here at this place, you stop to think about life and how easy and how near death can be. I always think that when I'm out in the streets driving somewhere and I see by the side of the road, see a little like a candle, you know, and a little picture, at least in the old country that exists in places where an accident has happened. It's a memento mori, right? It lets you think about how close these things can be. So this book, I think, is much better than the Andy Warhol thing. Maybe not as directly aesthetically aggressive. You know, if you're into Gothic style and so on, you want the electric chair picture, right? You want that. And if you're a bit more subtle, you might want these pictures. And of course, these pictures work much better in form of a book, because if you have just one such picture, nobody will even ask what it is. And if they do, you can talk about this. But if you have a whole book about that, you can lose yourself in the ideas of the differences of these places and the things that have happened here. So I think this is it's quite lengthy, right? It looks so small, but it's quite lengthy and has a lot of these pictures. None of them graphic or violent in any way. All of them beautiful. I mean, Sternfeld is known for color pictures, especially, and as you will know if you have like 16-year-old children who start doing art, they usually start producing black and white photography because everything looks so aesthetically pleasing and deep and profound. It's easy to have a black and white photo, but to me, I think these old color photos that Sternfeld and others. I should do a film about my favorite photo books as well. They have something that is disconnected from the over-aestheticization of black and white, but also beyond or far away from the today's over-flooding of snapshots and pictures and so on. Will there ever be another movement of photography, you know, new revolutions there, or is that what we have now? Is that the thing for the future? Can anybody be a good photographer with a snapshot just being in the right frame? Maybe, yes, and maybe that's a good thing. But a book like this, you could create a web page with the same concept, and it would be interesting, although don't get me going about the whole idea of videos and YouTube videos about crime scenes and crimes that are shocking and so on. On the one hand, yes, good, very good, important. On the other hand, it gets on my nerves. Okay, that's Joel Sternfeld. And for our last book about death, I want to choose something completely different. And I chose something that has no pictures at all. But, as you can see, is a book about death, even in a new edition. So there seems to be an old edition. And this new edition is incredibly lengthy. You know, this is like phone book length. And, if we look through this book, we will see that it's the opposite of what we had just now. It's okay. Do you see it? There's little water damage, probably from the tears of people reading this. The book has become wet over time. Oh, there are some pictures here. Pictures of long forgotten actresses. Although I know Rita Hayworth. Okay, some well-known, some long forgotten actresses and actors. But that's just the introduction, because the whole book consists of pages and pages and pages and pages of year, name, age, and cause and or place of death. This is an artistically accurate and voluminous collection of movie and television personalities who have died. This half of the book is by year. This half of the book is by name, which, of course, you could have an Excel list, right? That would be the same, or even more useful, because you could you could tag these causes and so on, and do more with that. But to me, I must say, just the existence of this as a hard copy book. By the name. In the end, you have also like the original names of the stars. And their pseudonyms and so on, who's related to whom, and the studios of the stars. So there's even some real background information about the studio system on old Hollywood and so on. But if you always wanted to know how John Houseman died, here you can see that it was spinal cancer. Harry Houdini died of, I think, I know it, peritonitis from a ruptured appendix. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. But there's, of course, naturally, dozens or hundreds of names of people you've never heard of. And there's something to that. You know? Very often it happens to me that when I hear that somebody has died, some star from my youth, you know, so from yesteryear, that I feel, oh, he was still alive? I wouldn't have expected that. And there's something sad about that, right? That I didn't know that he was still alive. I mean, it's natural. I mean, if stars are alive in their films, and as long as they make films, there's a lot of stars that I really love who made one film, maybe. And there's a lot of people who were in dozens of films, and I know their faces, but I don't know their names, and I would never call them out if somebody asked me about my favorite actors. But especially in the cinema up to the 1960s and 70s, you know, from the 40s and 50s and so on. There were so many great character actors, which I like, and I'm sure a lot of them are in here. Who is James Carreras? I have no idea, and we don't know how he died, but we know that Sunset Kit Carson died of a heart attack. Yes, or that, Jose de Vega died of AIDS at the age of 56. In the 90s, probably there's something to that. If you look in the 90s, how many people died of AIDS and so on, and what are the first years that people die in this book? 1919, Frederick Montague. Who's that? I have no idea, and the book doesn't tell me. Maybe that's a good thing. It's like, this is a bit like walking through a cemetery. You don't know these people, but from time to time you stop at a tombstone, look at the name, look at the numbers. Maybe there's a little poetry written down there, and you think about it for a little while. There's even some coding here about is it the cause of death, or what kind of people these were. I'm not sure, and it's not important, right? This book is it important? Is it helpful? Is it useful? No. It's an object of memory, not of the people in general, but of people existing, of people leaving a mark. We often forget that beyond the big names of the screen and of television, there's hundreds of people who we also saw, right? The lift boy in this film, or the bank clerk in that film, or the pedestrian in the other film. And they all had lives and families and fates and so on. And if I see that they died of AIDS and Parkinson's and pneumonia and heart attack and asthma, they died like all of us. And there were lots and lots of them. And at least their names are written down in this book. Mine isn't. Will my name be written down in any book? Probably not. And I'm fine with that. But that's maybe the last thought about it, you know. I like that we find the fates of some people interesting enough to put them onto a list, and to put the list together and create a book like this, which is it's quite a pretty book, you know. I don't think this is the kind of book that needs to be updated. I don't think this is the kind of book where you need an additional version every year, or a sequel, or whatever. But I think it's a very fine and nice book to put next to the other gory little treasure troves of. By the way, that means cake in the old country. Yes. Let's put it this way, then it means places. Yeah. If you have a knack for death, for the morbid, yeah, for the spiritual parts, or maybe just the amusing vanity of life and existence, and what we do with dead people, how we deal with it, I think these books are pretty nice in their own way. They are not too aggressive. They don't attack your senses. Don't create too many controversial or traumatic images in your mind. I have books that can do that, and maybe I will test if YouTube allows me to put them up. But for the next video, I think I will find something more lively, more amusing, and more positive. Until then, thank you very much for watching.